Alright, you hear that? That is, it sounds like the power steering pump. Squeaky, as you can hear. Right there. I know it's got the alternator. Right, to get started, these are the tools. The tools and the parts you need. So we've got OEM original Toyota automatic transmission fluid and power steering. From what I understand, I guess ATF or automatic transmission fluid is the same thing utilized in power steering for these cars. Here's the part number for the V-belt. We're going to replace the V-belt at the same time. Again, it's 2007 Toyota Tundra 4.7, not 5.7. And this is the power steering pump. This I had to get from my local automotive place. It's a brand new one. I think it's by let's say Carbon or something like that. The problem with these, even though they're brand, you can get a remanufactured one, but if you see my videos, what I feel about remanufactured is that at the cost, the cost is cheaper, but I don't want to go back in there. I am doing this in my driveway, so I'm not going to go back in and do it again. So there's some missing pieces to those here and here. I may just refurbish or reuse the one that's on the truck itself. That's the only problem with these. They don't come with the attachments on these black holes. And then might as well change the tensioner pulley. And I got this from Amazon. There's the part number for that one. This is the tensioner for this truck. 4 bolts holding it. The tools that you need. If you see my videos, I'm a big fan of this tool I got from Amazon. This will get your tensioner down there on the truck itself to loosen that up. This swivels. This is about 13-inch long, so it's pretty long. And you give you that leverage that you need. Sockets, short ones, deep ones, all metric because it's a foreign truck or Japanese truck. Little 1/4-inch ratchet set. And you see my videos, I'm a big fan of this. I got this from Walmart. Big long needle nose 45 degree angle needle nose plier. $5, $7 at the most at Walmart. All right, so those things you need. All right, let's take this thing apart. So it's disconnect the negative off the battery. I just do it just for safety. I imagine the power steering has nothing to do with the truck if I'm not starting it. So I'm just going to disconnect the negative, 10mm. I usually put a rag over it just so that it doesn't touch the body. Because believe it or not, the truck is the ground. And you can see this is attached to the ground. That comes off. Put this rag over it so that way it doesn't touch anything. All right, let's come back here and start working at this the bottom. So we're gonna do is take off this air box. Here is the pulley. We can get to that, and the tensioner is down there. That's the tensioner. So we're gonna place that to where we're at it. I'm gonna try to do this without removing the fan housing. A couple of videos I've watched, the guy removed the fan housing. I'm gonna try to remove the snorkel on this, remove these acorn nuts, and get to down there. Okay, let's start working on this. I may not finish this tonight because it's already 7 o'clock, sun is setting, so I do what I can, but I go all day tomorrow to work on this. 10mm acorn nuts, these are coming off. You watch my videos, I usually put the bolts and nuts back where they belong, so that way I'm not looking for the missing bolts. Missing nuts for these. Oh, there's one. Quick work of that. unplug here. It's just a mass airflow sensor. Just unplug it, simply unplug it, put it back here, tuck it away into the airbox. 4 snaps that holds it in. It's just a flip of a latch. These are pretty easy, not like my mother-in-law's air box. You watch my other video on that one. They held it down by some weird screws. Oddly enough. So it's all 10. So good thing about these Japanese cars, all 10 millimeter. Look at this stuff. Airbox should come out. Yeah, so one more latch. Yep, one more latch holding this in. 4 latches total. This should just come out. It's just the snorkel. There we go. It's coming off. Respect the air filter. It actually looks pretty clean. The rub piece is coming off on this one. It's pretty decent though. What the heck, something's chewing at my damn airbox. It's chewing on my airbox. I live in the woods, so probably some kind of critter. It's chewing on my airbox. Look at that. That's not normal. Something's trying to eat its way through my engine. Thing about these trucks, they're wide open, so critters can crawl into my motor. So snorkel. We're looking at up here. Get some light in this matter. It's just the oil checker thingy. Oil checker thingy. Keep it up here. Keep it around. Let's see. Let's see what we're working with. Yeah, I think it should come off. This whole snorkel. Just clamps holding it. Not even clamps. Pinch that up and pull that out. Should come out easily. There we go. Yeah, a handy dandy. All right. Let's figure this out. Let's get this off. I'm just using this to wiggle my way out so I can get to it. Yeah, that comes right off. So I can get to the snorkel for the air in box. This should wiggle around. There it is. This is where the air intake goes in, so I'm just going to protect it with a little bit of rag in case any critters decides to grow in there. You never know. Right, let's get down to business. So the video with the guy who actually disconnected the hose to the radiator. Oh, I can do that. I don't want to kind of start to leak fluid everywhere. If I can avoid it, I don't want to do it. If I have to, I'll do it. I may end up having to do it. All right, let's take off the tension off the belt. So it's gonna be a 15 millimeter. Reach down there, take the tension off the belt, and just memorize how this belt goes in. Kind of got the gist of the idea. So it goes around the. Excuse me. Kind of goes around. The belt goes around underneath, comes up top. Comes around. The tensioner just sits there. You can see that. Comes around. It's over the pulley. Comes around. This part actually sits on top. So it's going to be a 14 for the OEM and a 15 for the aftermarket. So I'm going to put a 14 in here. Then it's lefty loosey, so you'll see the tension released on the belt as I go left. Go to left. That's it. See, it kind of moves a little bit. So lefty loosey 14. So I said I was gonna replace the belt tensioner. I don't think I'm gonna do it. Why fix something that ain't broken? I don't have time anyway because I'm losing daylight. So I'm not gonna replace that. I'm just gonna replace the pump. Just the pump. So I replace the pump. I'll keep the belt tensioner. Won't replace that. Get down there. That thing. Not replacing that, keeping that. All right, we're gonna start taking apart some wires. Let's take these wires apart. This wire, fast straps, so I'm just gonna clip these. Just because they're in my way. No rhyme or reason. There we go. Jeez. That's out of the way. Tuck it over there. What else we gotta work on here? So we'll disconnect the sensor for the power steering, which is right there. This one right here. Nothing wants to come out. Yep, that's out. Okay. So it's a sensor. So to do this, I'm going to do it quick. I'm not going to unclamp the drain hose nor the supply line, just so, because I want to preserve the liquid in the power steering pump. I know they say to change it, but I'm not going to change it. I don't have time for that. So I'm going to take the 4 bolts that's in here out. So there's 4 bolts holding the power steering pump. That's right here. So one there. And the way you do it is you put a socket through here to reach there. 1, 2 bolts, 2 nuts. So 1, again. One, 2, 3, 4, and you can see that on the new one. So to recap, this is a new pulley, power steering pulley, power steering pump. So like I said, it doesn't come with any attachments. So there's a 10mm bolt that comes off here. Then this piece I had ordered from Toyota, and that's the part number for that one. So this is this piece. I think this is called a union suction port. Basically it's the drain port. It's going to go in here. But unfortunately there's a little indentation here which you need a rubber O-ring, and that's the kit for that. That's the part number for a Toyota. And I'm probably going to fit this one that probably fits the most in here. Over here. Goes over that. And this goes into here. Like so. Put the 10mm back in. And then from the top piece, that's the feed line. So when the feed line comes in, there's a big piece that comes out and then attaches here. The sensor and the feed line is all attached to here. So this is the part number for this one. There's a little hole there for the trickles of power steering fluid to go in. That's the part number for that. And I imagine these come with a crush washer, meaning as you tighten, this thing will crush up and it'll keep it sealed. And that's the part number for that one. Gasket pressure port. So this kind of goes on over like that. As we put in the new one that goes up here. But there's a feed line that comes here that has a port that has the sensor. Okay? And it'll look like that. So you put a socket, a 14mm socket there. Feeds through to the back. Fully lefty loosey, 3 bolts. So 2 up top and then 1 down the bottom. And then this is going to come out. Then I'll mess around with the feed line from the reservoir. That way I'll have less leakage and I'll just refill this back up with the new transmission fluid. That's how it looks. And now disconnect. We'll just have move this hose out of the way so that way this can be pushed out more. Disconnect here. The bolt, remember I told you, has the sensor attached. I'm going to keep that and replace this with the crusher bolt because then here's the feeder line and the drain one is down there. We'll unclamp that and hook up to the new one I showed you. 17mm. Crack this open a little bit. Little tap tap here. Oh wow, it's on there. May put back the bolt for the steering, just because it makes it. Don't do as I do. 70 millimeter impact. Don't pop it. Like I said, your discretion advised. What is the problem? You're not budging, are you? So I got most of it out. I disconnected the sensor here and the drain plug here. The problem is this is seized onto here, and the bolt that goes onto the power steering pump is actually moving around. So I'm using a cutter, just a cut here with this kind of cutter, a Dremel cutter. So it's seized up here. I thought about using a pulley to pull this out, a pulley tool. Then I have to take this out, because if you spin this around just to take this off here, it's going to keep hitting this part, but then you have to take this out. But now I would have to do the same to the new one. So I'm just going to cut this. I tried heating this up. I tried using PB blast. I tried everything. I tried vibrating, nothing. It almost stripped it, you can see. So I'm just going to cut it down with the Dremel. I'm trying to be careful not to mess up the surface of this, because this is the copper pipes, the copper rings that goes back on here is going to be pressure fitted. So I'm trying to be careful as much as I can, but I gotta take this thing out to replace the power steering pump. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to take this off, and then, all right, finally get it out. This was torturous. So here's the bolt. I cut off the head with the Dremel. So that's off. Surprising, when I was cutting it off, it finally started to move, of course, you know. So here's going to match this up. Here's the drain. What I'm going to do is I ordered the O-rings where I told you, I showed you that. Put that in there, and this is going to go here. Here's the new one. Here's the pressure bolt. It's going to go right here, and that's where the feed line will be coming in. So pretty much lines up with that one. All right, yeah, it took a little while to get it out, but it was such a pain in the butt just to cut this off, because this was pretty much seized on. Surprising, you would think this would seize to this, but it didn't. It was this one actually seized, which is weird, because this is naturally lubricated by the power steering fluid. All right, we'll put it back together. and then just do reverse of what we did when we took it out. So unfortunately, after cutting the head off the pressure line from the power steering, it started to leak around it, because what happens is when I was cutting it, I made the surface very rough, so I wasn't able to get a good seal. I threw some goop on there, it still didn't work. This is a pressure line, so that's why it kept spraying out power steering fluid. So it's more than what I bargained for. I originally just wanted to replace the power steering pump, but now I'm dealing with the power steering line. So I'm going to change this whole thing out. My loss, your gain, and I'll show you how to change, I guess, the power steering line. So I ordered this whole piece. My local automotive place sells just this piece, but Toyota is kind of funny because they sell the whole piece, including all these hoses that goes down there, plus this, basically all attached. Dealer wanted $500. I said no. I looked online. I found I think parts online for $100, $150 at the most. At the local automotive place, they wanted $250, so I said no. So I ordered online. I wait a couple days and I'll install it. I'll show you how to do that. So first things first, this is a 2007 Toyota Tundra. So I'm gonna lubricate it liberally. So this should be nice and loose. And come down here. There's a 10mm, which is pretty rusty. And I threw some PB glass on there. Right about there. Lube that up pretty good. Keep following the line. Another one, lube that up pretty good. So where it attaches to your power steering is going to be right about here, where that you see the boot. So it's in the driver's side tire well. I'll show where that is. So you have to take off the wheel. Once you take off the wheel, there's a flap that covers this whole thing up, like so. I just took out the pins, took that off, took the fasteners off, a bunch of these. If you watch my videos, I like using this tool here. Got this from Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below. And then of course my handy dandy L-shaped needle nose that can pull out the fasteners. So the feeder hose and the return hose meets up at the power steering column right about here. You see I shine the light on it. So your two things you're looking at here, the one on the left is the feeder, the one on the right must be the return. I'm lubricated liberally while I wait for the new parts. That's coming from I think I'll put in the description the name of the place I got it from. I'm gonna, in the meanwhile, I'm gonna lubricate it very well. Spray some PB glass on there, let it sit, because that's the way PB glass works. You have to let it sit. You gotta have time for it. I don't have time, but since we're waiting for parts, we're gonna have to have time for it. All right, keep it updated. It's gonna be 12mm here, right there. There's gonna be a couple more here, right over there, right about that. Another one here, right over there. I'm just we're gonna now show the other side where it connects underneath the tie well. So I'm tough time right now. In the truck right now. This part is stuck inside the power steering column. So what I did was I cut off this pipe. This whole thing just cut off with a hacksaw, and then I put a 17mm socket over this. Use a wrench to get it out. I'll show you that. So in there, way in there, I have a ratchet over a socket. That's it. Way in there. So like that. That's that. So I cut off the tube, put the 17mm socket over that to take it out. That's what that looks like. That's it. So I'm making a tool because to get the nipple out of the occupant steering, it's 17mm. So I bought one of these 17mm from one of my automotive stores. So it's that kind of angle that you need. The problem is the line comes out of the pressure line, so you need to have an opening to get to there. So put your hacksaw through it like that, hook it up, and then kind of cut that piece out to make an opening. So that way you can create a tool to get that nipple piece to tighten up or loosen up. Okay, and there you have it. So to get to that, well, all the way down there, I needed to move the return line hose. So I unhooked that. So it gave me more room to move. A wrench in there. So there's that line disconnected from here where the rag is. So that way I'm able to give myself a little bit more room. So I created this thing to give me more room. So I got a bar going across. All the way down there is pulling up the wires. So it kind of gets the wires out of my way down there. Just tie up the rope here. It's tied up there. It pushes everything out of the way, so it gives me more room to work around there. So pro tip there. You'll find that sometimes you have to refill this more than usual. So make sure that the code mark, you can either keep the engine until it's cooled down or when it's running, the hot mark. So hot, code. Right now it's at the code. You can see the liquid right there. All right, that's one pro tip. So pro tip is when you put the new pressure line in, it sticks out more than usual because it's aftermarket. It's not an OEM. So just a little pro tip. So don't be trying to over tighten it so that the whole thread does not show up. So on the aftermarket, you'll see it kind of sticks out a little bit. You can see in this video here. All right, so don't go over tighten it for no reason. You just be doing yourself a disfavor to you go all the way down to the bottom of the thread. So the new replacement aftermarket doesn't go all the way in. See that? Zoom in some more. Right down there. So the thread does not go all the way in. Just be aware, don't be trying to over tighten it for no reason. All right, back together. New pressure sensor off and spills up all over the place. So the key to priming the power steering is you want to get one of these, fill up the power steering fluid to the code reservoir. Keep this in. When you put this in and you start the truck, this thing's going to start splashing all over the place just because air is coming out of here. Let it run for a little bit. When you get to the warm side, here, then you put the top back, top down. Once to the middle, I didn't go high or low, right in the middle, and then so that's nice and warm. Listen to the sound. And tolerable before. Whereas I don't want to keep doing this anymore. And then when you're done with that, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to turn the stereo so I have the truck on both wheels off the ground. And then you want to come in, of course the car is already on, the truck's already on. Just turn the steering wheel right, left. You hear it. You make a humming noise, that's fine. And then you come back to the other side. You make another humming noise. And then, you know, when this truck cools down, but check the level again. Top off if you need to at a code level. And that's it. This was quite a challenge to do, but we got it done. We hope you haven't already subscribed to the channel. Let's get up to 100 subscribers. I think we're up to 96, 97 when we made this video. Alright, I'll see you the next time.